Challenge swaps in Halo Infinite are interesting. With the game's progression at the moment being focused on challenges, I was expecting to be earning swaps regularly. But there are a few inherent problems that we need to talk about. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm talking about challenge swaps in Halo Infinite. Now I understand that challenges were intended to be the primary source of XP in Halo Infinite, but there is a slight problem. In the free version of the Battle Pass, 40 of the 100 tiers in the pass are challenge swaps. How is this an issue? If you're a free-to-play player, that's about 40 levels that you get no customization options for your Spartan. In the Premium Pass, you generally get something for your Spartans at every level. But if you don't have the Premium unlocks, you're not getting much in the way of anything. Some levels don't even have anything for free-to-play players, and this becomes a lot more common in the later tiers of the pass. Although I mentioned this in my last video, the Tenrai event features more than half of the pass being just challenge swaps and XP grants. But why are there so many challenge swaps in these passes? In my opinion, it's most likely due to some of the challenges being too difficult, or in many cases way too specific, and this is known by 343. Otherwise they wouldn't dedicate entire levels to them in the free version of the Battle Pass. I would like to note that some of the challenges have become less specific as mentioned in my last video, but the point still stands. There are a lot of swaps in these passes, and I would like to know what the Halo community thinks. So I asked all of my friends that play Halo why they think there is a lot of swaps in these passes. Here are some of the responses that I got. It's predatory. Here are shitty challenges that you don't want to do. Need a Slayer game? You can't, because you're being drip-fed into playlists. So if you can't find a Slayer game, well then let's just swap the challenge. Hopefully you don't get a challenge that involves winning, because who cares? You only get 50 XP anyway. They gave us a problem, and then monetize the solution to the problem they created. I would like to head into matchmaking. I need to play one game of Slayer.
Oddball.
I don't want to play Oddball, I need to play Slayer.
Oddball.
I need Slayer.
Oddball. Oddball.
Fuck! Fine. I'll use my last challenge swap.
Challenge swap. Accepted. Play 5 games of
Oddball.
Fine. Matchmake.
Slayer.
See, now you're just taking the fucking piss. Take this into consideration as well. This was in the game before the 50 XP per match was added as a temporary fix. This could have been a much bigger problem. This might be the conspiracy side of me coming out, but I think they had a feeling that the progression system wasn't in its best form. So they last minute added a bunch of challenge swaps for the main pass. For the event one, I think they heard all of the outcry on how bad the system was, and they needed a short-term solution. So they filled up the free event pass with challenge swaps, which had another negative effect on the game and how the pass seems to be 90% swaps and grants only 10% of the things we actually want. I think the reason why the majority of the rewards in the Tenrai pass are challenge swaps and XP grants is due to 343 selling much of the Yoroi customization in the store. As for progression, I think this comment speaks for itself. I believe they dedicated so many levels to challenge swaps due to the lack of items in the Battle Pass. If we were to take away all of them, and only focus on the unlockable gear, we would lose around 30 to 40 levels. They needed filler content, but didn't want to give out unlockable credits, so they filled it with an item that usually runs for about $2 USD. I also have to point out, I'd be fine if they added credits instead. It would give me at least a feeling that I got some of my money back, not useless items like challenge swaps. Those I believe should remain in a payable, daily or weekly challenge unlock, and a few in the Battle Pass, not the current 30 to 40 levels. Rewarding players credits for completing the milestones in the Battle Pass would go a long way. I also think that these swaps do act as a filler content as well, since the majority of the Mark 7 customization is bought through the storefront. Those options should have been free in the Battle Pass. I believe they have placed so many challenge swaps to give reprieve to players who can't be on all the time. So if faced with a challenge that might be too difficult or just not wanting to do it, swapping out can be a viable option. I believe the challenge swaps are unnecessary because you complete them whilst you play all the game modes anyway. I agree as to why there are so many, and definitely understand the intention behind giving players an option to not do certain challenges if that challenge takes too much time. This is good for players who can't grind the game all the time and need a quick swap so they can progress further with their Battle Pass. I don't agree so much with them being unnecessary, but that's the joy of getting other people's opinions. You don't have to agree with them 100%, but at least understand them. Personally, I haven't even used the challenge swaps yet. In fact, I have like 17 of them. but the Battle Pass and the recent event need to stop filling it with XP and challenge swaps, especially if the timed events are 7 tiers a week. It's unrewarding and defeats the purpose of a Battle Pass in general. I think the Battle Pass itself needs an update to include more free armor. I also think that achievements and challenges, like in Halo 5, should reward players with armor or coatings. It makes achievement hunting more rewarding. I agree with this statement wholeheartedly. It does seem like campaign has unlockables for multiplayer based on the footage released recently, so I'm hoping it's going to feel rewarding like in the older days of Halo, because more free armor for players in general will help everyone feel like they're progressing nicely and making their Spartan truly their own. These are only a few statements that I got, but I think it gives you an insight into what the players think about challenge swaps. They do feel like filler content for players, especially free-to-play players, with entire levels dedicated to a swap, and some having nothing at all. This needs to change fast, because if the Tenrai event pass is what we are to expect in the future for this game, then getting your Spartans looking the way you want them to is going to be tough without opening your wallet. I want this game to be the best Halo game it can be. It's why I make these videos. I love Halo and I love Halo Infinite. I want 343 to see how much the Halo community wants this game to get better, and we can do that by continuing to give constructive feedback. They hear us, but we need to keep talking and keep that fire alive.